Today's tech news moves fast, but understanding it shouldn't be hard. That's why Snarful Solutions Group brings you Connecting the Dots, where we break down what's happening in tech and why it matters to you. Now, let's dive in with your hosts.
Connecting the Dots, I'm Alex.
And I'm Morgan.
And we're so glad you can join us. It is Friday, December 12th, 2025. And today we are cutting through the noise.
Yep. We're going to give you the three biggest tech stories that actually impact your business, your career, and, your family life.
But before we get into the Morning Star, we should probably touch on the weather. It is intense out there.
It really is, especially for our listeners up in the Pacific Northwest.
Absolutely. Even here in Sacramento, we're waking up to areas of dense fog.
It's chilly with a high of only, 44 degrees?
And nationally, it's much more severe. We're talking catastrophic flooding, landslides across Washington and Northwest Oregon.
Wow.
And then on the other side of the country, you've got this severe Arctic air. Just dangerous wind chills hitting the northern high plains and moving all the way down into the mid-south.
So a messy travel day for a lot of people.
A very messy day. And watch out for that narrow band of snow from the Midwest into the Central Appalachians. A harsh welcome to mid-December for sure.
Okay, let's pivot quickly to the financial snapshot. It's been a volatile week, and it ended on a bit of a down note.
That's right. The Dow Jones closed down yesterday, about 0.5%, finishing at 48,445.31.
But the week was still positive overall for the Dow, right?
It was. If you zoom out, it actually had a pretty decent run, closing up almost a full percent for the week.
The S&P 500, though, not so lucky.
No, it took a heavier hit. It was down over 1% yesterday.
Closing at 6,816.52.
And that dragged the whole week into the red for the S&P.
Yep, down 0.85% for the week.
And Bitcoin looks like some serious profit taking.
Oh, yeah. It closed at 90,193.88. That's a drop of 2.5% just yesterday.
So that pushed its weekly change negative, too.
Just barely, but yes. Minus 0.49%. It really feels like the digital markets are, cooling off a bit as we head toward the end of the year.
A bit of a pause before the final holiday rush. Now, before we explore just how fast this tech race is moving, let's talk about getting ready for the holidays.
And making sure you've got something cool from our sponsor, Old Glory.
Exactly. Old Glory is the place for iconic music and sports fan merch.
I mean, if you have that techie friend who seems to have every single gadget, this is a great idea. Maybe they need a classic concert t-shirt or some fan apparel.
They have some amazing stuff. It's a perfect holiday gift idea.
For sure.
Just head over to oldglory.com, that's one word. Use the code SNARFUL at checkout.
And that gets you 15% off your entire purchase.
That code again is
Snarful for 15% off.
All right, let's jump into the Morning Star. That's our Snarful Tech article report.
And today's stories, I think they really define where we are with AI right now.
They do. It's basically a political fight, an arms race, and a safety struggle, and they're all happening at once.
So let's start with that political fight, because it is easily the biggest regulatory news of the week. We're talking about President Trump's new executive order on AI, and it's setting up this just high-stakes showdown between the federal government and the states.
This is, it's a classic federal preemption battle.
Yeah.
The president signed an EO that basically argues state AI laws are too onerous.
Right, and a threat to U.S. global AI dominance.
That's the phrase. And the argument you hear from the White House and from a lot of AI executives is pretty simple.
50 different rule books is bad for business.
Exactly. It'll stifle innovation, it'll hurt our ability to compete, especially with China.
I remember him saying that China has one vote, which lets them move much faster.
And the administration isn't just, asking nicely. This EO has some very aggressive enforcement mechanisms built in.
Two of them, right?
Two of them. The first one is legal.
It directs the Justice Department to form an AI litigation task force.
And their job is just to sue states.
Pretty much. They've already singled out laws like Colorado's algorithmic discrimination protection as a specific target.
So you're talking about guaranteed, incredibly expensive legal battles that could go on for years. That fundamentally challenges the separation of powers.
It absolutely does. It pits the supremacy clause right up against the 10th Amendment.
Yeah.
But the second prong of the attack might be even more powerful. It's financial.
Okay.
The EO tasks Commerce Secretary Lutnick with figuring out if states with, quote, unfavorable AI laws could lose federal funding.
And we're not talking about a small amount of money here.
No, we're talking about major infrastructure programs. Specifically, they're threatening to withhold rural broadband funding from the BEAD program.
The Broadband Equity Access and Deployment Program.
Wow. For states trying to close that digital divide, losing billions in BEAD funding it's an existential threat.
It sounds like the administration is just putting speed for Silicon Valley ahead of any kind of public safety concerns, but this has caused some really interesting backlash.
It has, from conservatives, prominent Republicans like Governor Ron DeSantis, Senator Josh Hawley. They're criticizing the EO because it goes against that traditional GOP value of states' rights.
And they're pointing out what the public is worried about.
Exactly. The impact on jobs, the dangers to kids online, and the huge strain these data centers are putting on the U.S. electric grid. It's a really complex fight that doesn't follow simple party lines.
So the goal isn't really to win these lawsuits. It's more about delaying things.
That seems to be the strategy. It's cynical, but very effective. This is where the story really connects back to your work. Policy researchers are warning that just the threat of lawsuits,
Or the threat of losing BEAD funding, it creates what they call massive legal uncertainty.
It's a chilling effect.
It's the definition of a chilling effect. Think about it. If
the federal government tells you, hey, if you install that new security system, we might sue you, I'm probably not going to install it.
Right, the risk is too high.
So it discourages states from passing any new protective laws at all to get what they want, minimal regulation, without ever having to actually win in court.
And this whole fight over future guardrails is happening while development is just exploding. Which brings us to our second story. The AI arms race is at code red.
Code red status, officially. OpenAI just rolled out GPT-5.2 in a stunningly fast move.
It was less than a month after 5.1, right?
Less than a month. And reports say this was triggered by an internal code red memo that was reacting directly to credible competition.
Specifically, Google's Gemini 3.
That's the one. They realized they had to move, and they had to move now.
It sounds a little like panic, but what's actually new? How does 5.2 really move the needle for, say,
A professional listening to us right now?
OpenAI is calling this the most capable model series yet for professional knowledge work, and the benchmarks are, well, they're staggering. This is not just a small step.
Give me the numbers that matter.
Okay, first, the knowledge boost. The knowledge cutoff date jumped to August 31, 2025.
Wow, that's almost a full year past 5.1.
It's a huge leap. And second, the performance on professional tasks has gone through the roof.
This is that GDP benchmark, right? The standardized test for knowledge work.
Exactly. It measures AI on things like legal analysis, financial modeling, all sorts of complex tasks. And GPT-5.2 scored a 70.9%.
So to translate that for us, what does 70.9% mean?
It means the model is now beating human professionals in over 70% of those tasks.
Yeah.
And it's completing them 11 times faster.
11 times faster. That is the definition of disruption to pretty much every office job there is.
It is. We're talking about automating complex spreadsheets, building nuanced presentations. It can even handle multi-step projects on its own.
That's the agentic tool calling thing.
Right. It can plan and execute a whole process, like research this tax law.
Law, draft a summary, and then make a slide deck for the CFO, all in one go.
And they halved the error rates on things like chart reasoning, which is huge for finance and science.
It is. This is the race to create the ultimate high-speed knowledge analyst for everyone.
But all that capability comes with a higher price tag.
It does. A rare price increase, about 1.4 times the cost of 5.1. The top-tier Pro model is now $168 per $1 million output tokens.
$168. That's literally the price of intelligence.
It is. And it means you have to be much more strategic about when you use the best model. Like, I tested it on a high-level physics paper I was stuck on, and it explained it perfectly in 30 seconds.
That's humbling.
It's humbling. The capability is just undeniable. But so is the cost.
That speed is genuinely raining less than a month between major upgrades. Okay, let's pivot to our third story, which is all about the other side of this. Safety and social impact.
Right. The long-awaited adult mode for ChatGPT.
We finally got a timeline update.
Update from Fidji Simo, OpenAI's CEO of applications.
We did. During that same GPT 5.2 briefing.
Yeah.
And it's later than a lot of people expected. She said Q1 2026.
2026. What's the holdup? Is it the actual content generation?
Surprisingly, no. The bottleneck isn't the content. It's the age prediction and the compliance tech behind it. The priority is safety.
So they're building a model to automatically apply safeguards for minors, anyone under 18.
Exactly. And they have to be absolutely sure they can identify teens, and this is crucial, that they can avoid the misidentification of adults.
That's a huge PR and legal hurdle if you get that wrong.
It's massive. And this focus on age gating is happening across the whole industry because of new laws and public pressure. Getting it right is why it's pushed so far.
So safety and compliance are actually slowing down a potentially huge new revenue stream.
They are. And CMO basically confirmed that the code red to compete with Google refocused their engineers on the core ChatGPT product.
Which delayed other things like advertising and
This age verification system.
Everything's connected when the stakes are this high.
And then right alongside that safety update, we got the strategic kicker of the week.
Oh, yeah. The massive new 3-year licensing deal
with Disney.
The house of mouse is going all in.
They really are. It includes a $1 billion equity investment, but the real story here is the licensing agreement.
Okay.
Disney is giving OpenAI access to over 200 other biggest characters. Marvel, Pixar, Star Wars, the entire modern mythology.
For what exactly? User-prompted videos and training data. So what does that really mean? Are we just talking about AI-generated fan fiction, or is this something much bigger?
It's much bigger. It's about market dominance. This deal gives OpenAI content diversity that their competitors just can't match.
So if you can prompt their model to make a new video with a specific Marvel character.
While a competing model can only give you a generic superhero, that's a huge strategic advantage. They're locking down the most valuable IP in the world for their models.
That's the ultimate moat.
It defines the future of media creation for the next decade.
Wow. Okay, before we wrap up our Connecting the Dots, we need to thank our second sponsor, Skony.
Skony, that's
Skony, is the premium golf shoe store. If you're looking for high-quality, really comfortable shoes for the course, you should check them out at skony.com.
And if you use our promo code SNORFUL at checkout, you can get 15% off your entire purchase.
That's skony.com, and the code is SNORFUL.
Alright, so let's quickly recap the 3 big stories that define the week.
First, you have the escalating fight between the federal government and the states over AI regulation, creating that chilling effect to stop new laws.
Second, the just blistering speed of the AI arms race, with OpenAI dropping the super capable GPT-5.2 just weeks after the last one, all because of a competitive code red.
And third, there's a critical focus on safety, which is delaying adult mode until 2026, while at the same time, OpenAI is making these huge strategic content deals
with companies like Disney.
All 3 of these stories, they really show that the future of AI isn't just about the tech itself. It's about the political, the financial, and the safety boundaries being drawn around it.
Or actively being threatened. And it raises a really important question for you, the professional listening right now. If these AI agents can beat humans in over 70% of knowledge tasks and do them 11 times faster, how do you redefine your own value in the workplace?
Something to think about this weekend. We're here to help at Centerfold, so reach out on our website if you have any more questions.
That's a wrap on today's top stories. Remember, tech doesn't have to be complicated, and we're here to help connect the dots. If you've got questions or want to learn more, visit us at snarful.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.